You think sexual desire is about pleasure, but you already know it reaches further than that. There are urges you never explain, patterns you notice but do not question, thoughts that surface quietly and disappear before you give them a name. Sexual desire does not stay confined to the bedroom. It shapes your attention, influences your choices, and follows you into silence, memory, and imagination. It becomes part of how you relate, how you attach, and how you understand yourself. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that life force moves through every layer of human experience, including sexuality. Sexual desire is not an accident of the body. It is prana moving through consciousness, seeking expression, seeking union, seeking recognition. When this energy is misunderstood, it creates confusion. When it is met with awareness, it becomes one of the clearest mirrors of your inner state. This is why sexual desire feels powerful. It carries more than impulse. It carries identity, longing, vulnerability, and the need to feel whole. It appears in dreams, in fantasies, in attraction, and in the quiet sense that something inside you is reaching outward. Yogananda spoke of self-realization as learning to understand the movement of life force within oneself. Sexual desire is one of its most concentrated expressions. This is not a conversation about control or restraint. It is about understanding the intelligence moving through you. Sexual desire reveals what your consciousness seeks, where your energy gathers, and where awareness has yet to settle. When you stop treating it as a problem to manage and begin meeting it as a signal to understand, it starts to speak clearly. Stay here. This exploration is not about judgment. It is about seeing what has always been active inside you and learning to recognize its deeper meaning. When awareness meets sexual desire directly without distortion, it becomes a doorway rather than a distraction. Sexual energy moves as life force in its most concentrated form. Paramhansa Yogananda described prana as the living current that animates thought, breath, emotion, and awareness. Sexual desire arises when this current gathers intensity within consciousness. It expresses itself through sensation, imagination, attraction, and the longing for union. This energy carries direction because consciousness always moves toward expansion, recognition, and fulfillment. Yogananda taught that attention directs the flow of prana. Wherever awareness rests, life force gathers strength and clarity. Sexual desire becomes powerful because attention naturally converges around intimacy, connection, and completion. The mind engages fully with this movement, shaping images, meanings, and emotional charge. Sexual energy therefore reveals how consciousness seeks experience, how it organizes itself around longing, and how identity forms around the desire to unite. As awareness meets sexual energy directly, the experience deepens and stabilizes. Sensation remains alive while perception sharpens. Attention steadies the current rather than scattering it across fantasy or fixation. Yogananda emphasized understanding the pathways of life force within the nervous system and mind. Sexual energy responds immediately to awareness because consciousness recognizes its own movement. Presence brings coherence. Insight brings balance. The energy becomes refined through understanding. Sexuality then functions as a clear expression of conscious life force. Creativity draws vitality from the same current. Devotion intensifies through the same movement of energy. Intuition awakens as attention becomes sensitive to its flow. Sexual desire gathers these expressions into a single, powerful movement toward union. Awareness allows this energy to circulate freely, informing perception, deepening presence, and expanding inner coherence. In this understanding, sexual energy naturally supports awakening because consciousness remains present within its own power. Sexual desire shapes the inner world whether it receives attention or silence. When this energy remains unacknowledged, it continues to move beneath awareness, influencing emotion, identity, and behavior from within. Life force does not pause. It circulates through thought, mood, memory, and imagination, shaping the way a person feels toward themselves and others. When sexual energy lacks conscious recognition, it seeks expression through indirect paths. Paramhansa Yogananda described prana as responsive to consciousness. When awareness withdraws, energy follows its own momentum. Sexual desire then settles into restlessness, fixation, emotional hunger, or a sense of dullness that feels difficult to explain. The mind searches for relief through repetition, distraction, or fantasy because the energy continues to ask for engagement. Identity gradually organizes itself around these patterns, shaping habits, relationships, and self-perception. Unacknowledged sexual desire often carries emotional weight. It blends with longing for closeness, validation, and belonging. It influences reactions, attachments, and the way attention moves towards certain people or experiences. Yogananda taught that understanding life force brings balance to the inner world. When awareness enters sexual energy, the emotional charge begins to reorganize itself. The energy feels clearer, steadier, and more integrated within consciousness. Awareness restores harmony by allowing sexual energy to complete its movement consciously. Attention provides containment. Understanding brings ease. The inner world responds with relief because the energy no longer operates unseen. Emotional patterns soften. Identity becomes more fluid. Sexual desire then contributes vitality and depth, instead of pressure or confusion. Conscious recognition transforms inner tension into coherence, allowing life force to support stability, presence, and self-compassion naturally. Attraction reveals movement within consciousness. It arises when sexual energy recognizes a quality that resonates with an inner state seeking expression. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that consciousness carries complementary currents that seek harmony and balance. These currents express themselves through attraction, drawing attention toward people who reflect qualities the inner life is ready to embody more fully. When fascination appears, awareness focuses with intensity. The person who attracts attention seems to carry meaning beyond appearance or circumstance. This experience unfolds because sexual energy responds to resonance. It recognizes emotional depth, strength, sensitivity, confidence, or presence that mirrors something alive within consciousness. Attraction becomes recognition before it becomes attachment. Yogananda spoke of balance within consciousness as essential for inner harmony. Attraction highlights areas where balance seeks fuller expression. The pull toward another person often reflects a quality consciousness wishes to experience more directly. Sexual energy gathers around that recognition, intensifying awareness and emotional focus. This process invites reflection rather than confusion. As awareness deepens, attraction reveals its message clearly. The fascination carries information about inner alignment, readiness, and growth. Conscious attention allows the energy to inform understanding instead of overwhelming perception. Attraction then functions as a mirror, guiding awareness inward toward integration and harmony within consciousness itself. Desire and devotion move through the same current of life force. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that prana responds to attention, breath, and awareness, rising toward clarity as consciousness becomes steady. Sexual longing gathers energy intensely. When awareness meets that intensity, the energy refines itself and lifts toward presence. The sensation remains vivid while the mind grows quiet and attentive. Desire then supports awareness by drawing consciousness fully into the moment. As attention deepens, sexual longing reveals its devotional quality. The energy seeks union, intimacy, and absorption. When awareness holds it gently, the longing gathers focus and steadiness. Breath becomes slower, sensation feels grounded, the heart opens into presence. Yogananda emphasized that directing life force upward occurs through calm attention and inner alignment. Sexual energy responds immediately, becoming luminous and attentive within the field of awareness. Devotion grows naturally from this refinement. Longing sharpens perception and invites sincerity. The energy begins to nourish stillness and sensitivity. Presence deepens sensation without agitation. Consciousness recognizes itself moving through desire and resting within it. Sexual longing then serves attention by anchoring awareness in the body while opening perception inward. In this state, devotion feels embodied and steady, carried by life force aligned with awareness. Fantasy speaks through images and feeling. Sexual fantasies arise as symbolic expressions of inner states seeking recognition. The imagination gathers energy around themes that carry emotional meaning. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that consciousness communicates through subtle impressions and inner imagery. Sexual fantasy participates in this language, revealing needs, memories, and qualities that awareness is ready to meet. Each fantasy carries information. The images reflect emotional currents, energetic patterns, and aspects of self that seek integration. The imagination organizes sensation and feeling into symbolic form. Awareness allows these symbols to reveal their message clearly. When consciousness listens without judgment, the fantasy softens and clarifies. The energy feels understood and begins to settle into coherence. Understanding brings ease. Attention remains present with the image while insight unfolds. The emotional charge loosens as meaning becomes conscious. Sexual fantasy then functions as guidance, pointing toward inner nourishment and alignment. Awareness receives the message and allows the energy to reorganize naturally. Imagination continues to serve clarity, offering symbols that support integration and wholeness within consciousness. Integration unfolds as awareness remains present with sexual energy throughout daily experience. Paramhansa Yogananda emphasized living in harmony with life force through steady attention. As consciousness stays connected to the movement of energy, relationships feel clearer and more grounded. Presence deepens connection. Communication carries warmth and sincerity. Sexual energy supports intimacy through attentiveness and ease. Creativity draws vitality from the same current. Awareness allows energy to circulate freely through expression, work, and reflection. Inner stability grows as attention remains aligned. Emotional responses soften and organize themselves naturally. Sexual energy contributes calm vitality, supporting focus and sensitivity across daily activities. Inner alignment brings confidence and clarity. Awareness guides the flow of energy without strain. The nervous system settles into balance. Desire continues to move as a living current, informing perception and connection. Integration restores a sense of wholeness as consciousness remains present within its own energy. Life unfolds with steadiness, depth, and quiet vitality carried by awareness. Wholeness arises when sexual energy, awareness, and identity move together without division. Paramhansa Yogananda described self-realization as embodied awareness, where consciousness remains present in the body, the breath, and the movement of life force. Inner union unfolds as harmony between body, mind, and soul, experienced directly rather than imagined. Sexual desire participates fully in this harmony when it is understood and lived consciously. As sexual energy integrates, it settles into a steady current within awareness. Sensation feels grounded, attention remains clear. Identity no longer fragments around longing or pursuit. Life force circulates smoothly, nourishing perception, emotion, and presence. Yogananda taught that when energy flows freely through consciousness, it supports awakening naturally. Sexual desire then expresses power without agitation, intimacy without confusion, and depth without strain. Inner union feels quiet and complete. Awareness recognizes itself through sensation and stillness together. Sexual energy serves awakening by anchoring consciousness in the living experience of the body. The sense of self becomes unified, steady, and intimate with life as it unfolds. Wholeness reveals itself as a natural state, supported by clarity, presence, and the gentle strength of integrated life force. If you have stayed with this exploration, you have already shown honesty and courage. Sexual desire carries wisdom when it is met with awareness. It reveals where life force moves, where consciousness gathers, and where deeper understanding waits. This journey does not require conclusions. It invites continued presence and listening. Take time to reflect on what resonated most deeply for you. Share your experience in the comments, so this space remains rooted in sincerity and depth. If you feel called, share this with someone who is walking a similar inward path. Bonfire Tales exists as a quiet gathering for those willing to explore consciousness with honesty and care. You are welcome to join the WhatsApp channel to continue these reflections beyond this moment. Thank you to the channel members who support this work and keep this space alive. Subscribe if you wish to keep exploring these inner layers together. Stay close to your own awareness. Let sexual energy continue to inform presence, clarity, and self-understanding. Walk forward with steadiness, intimacy, and trust in the intelligence moving through you.